Hello everybody and welcome back. And I want to add all the best for 2021, wherever you're watching this from. I wish you the very best here. In today's video, I'm going to do a build for the shop. Almost exactly a year ago, I made this holder for all of my small tools and pencils and whole lots of other things. I did it because the first one I built, this one lasted me a year before it became full, a whole year. This is the first one I built. And this one lasted about 2 months and it was full. That's why I built this one, which has now lasted me a year. It's strange how when you have something like this, you keep finding stuff that you can put in here and then all of a sudden it is full. Currently, the PVC pipes that's in here, there is 20 50 millimeter pipes and 11 25 millimeter pipes, and then I have stuff stuck in everywhere in between. I'm going to have to do a much bigger version of this. However, in between making this one and now, I listened to Adam Savage's book. In the book, he mentioned something which really resonated with me, and that is thinking of your tools as to the proximity you are to the tools. I hope I explained this correct. So he explains that tools must be stored according to its proximity with you. In other words, something that you would use a lot needs to be very readily accessible to you. It mustn't be tough to get to it. And one of the things that has been frustrating me, even though I did not really understand it until I listened to the book, was the fact that this shelf sits on one spot and I have to continuously walk back and forth to retrieve something from it. That's why the upgraded version, I am going to completely redesign this layout, and I'm going to mount it on a pole with a base plate and some wheels so that I can move it around in the shop wherever I need to use it. All right, let me quickly give you a rundown of the plan. This is going to be the bottom base. I'm going to attach these wheels to that. Drill holes, attach to wheels. Then I'm going to take this round bar, weld it in the center, followed by this little base plate, which will go there. On top of this little base plate will go this thing, this turny roundy thingy, swivel thingy, and the board with all the pipes and everything will be mounted on top of that. So I can move it around and I can also turn it around. That's the plan. Let's get into it. All right, I drilled the holes in the base plate. I've got 2 magnets set up at a 90 degree, and I checked it with the right angle. It's perfectly level, so now I'm going to quickly weld this one, and then the bottom part will be done except for the wheels. The welding is all done. I quickly spray painted it. And now I'm just quickly putting the wheels on, which is quite an interesting task. The interesting challenge is that I think the best way to do this is you're supposed to take this bolt out and take the wheel out so you can get access to this side. But honestly, I just don't have the patience to do it. So I can put the nut in here, hand tighten it. I put the lock nut on the top side, and then if I wangle this spanner in here, it gives me just enough grip so that I can tighten it from the other side. But if I tighten too much, then the spanner slips because the nut is not fully in it, but for this case, and then I can wangle it out, and then done. Now we just have to test this out. That's awesome. Works like a charm. Okay, now time to start working on the rotating part on top of the stand. I'm going to use this wood as a base. And what I have, this, the same way I built that one, I didn't start with like a plan. I just cut pipes, measured them. Depending on what I have to put in them, I determined the lengths. And I started cutting them and then packed them against one another and started figuring it out. So I'm going to start here the same. I need a couple of pipes that's 15 centimeters tall. That's to hold the long things like the rulers and the vernier and all of that. So I'm going to start them in the center, start cutting them and scaling them down so they taper outwards. And then that will determine how big of a circle I have to cut out of this thing to make the base. This is my general idea, but first things first, I have to see if this thing will cut this PVC pipe. When I made that one, I didn't have the cut-off saw yet, so I used a hand saw. And now I have this, but I've never done it. So we are going to find out. Oh, that cuts it so smooth and so straight. Not like the hand saw. Oh, I love you, my little machine. Oh, perfect. Just look at that. I had no specific idea in mind. I just kind of started with what I think it should be, and then I let the material, the pipes, lead me. And this is what I ended up with. Something else that happened is it snowed in my workshop. So now I'm going to quickly clean this mess up over here, and then we can start gluing everything together. This part of the process is quite simple, as I explained. I remove one pipe, so I know where it was. I actually saw I don't have to use the blower, it actually blows out perfectly. Then I make a note of the writing on here. I don't like to see this writing, and I've tried spray painting over it before, and it just keeps on shining through. It takes forever. Then I note the position where it's going to go, so I try to make the writing face inwards so I won't see it. I make a note of where the glue must be. Then apply the glue. And attach it. I'm using the base as a kind of level up to it. And they say it needs about 5 minutes for this PVC weld to grip, but it's attached. It will probably keep on drying, but this is what I love about this PVC weld. You put it on, you press firmly, and it's attached. And then, next one. I just had a thought that, if you'll permit, I want to share with you. This is now the third time that I have to make this holder for all my writing instruments and small hand tools and everything. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily like redoing things. I certainly, years ago, I was somebody who became quickly irritated if I had to redo something. And then I realized that I have to redo this because my tools expanded so much that I now require more space. And that's a sign of progress. It's a good thing if you have to expand. Expansion is good. With everything in life, if you have to continuously make room for more, it's a sign that you are expanding. I don't want to become too preachy, but it's just, while I was now, it's very therapeutic to glue PVC pipes together. And while I was doing it, I realized that this is a sign that I am expanding. And it's a good thing. And I liked it, and I thought, let me share it. All right, it's done. Look at that. That's quite cool. What I'm going to do now is just cut out this circle quickly with the jigsaw. Now I have to put these pieces together with this rotating thing. Now the only thing that remains, the very, very, very fun part that I've been waiting for the whole time, is to repack everything from the old one into this one. But I think I'm going to do you a favor and just do a time lapse of it. Okay. All right. So the battery went flat, so no time lapse. I am done packing everything. I repacked everything in here, and I know it already looks very full. What happened with the old one is I had multiple things in one container, so I didn't have enough space to have each one in its own space, where now Everything has got its own separate space where I can know it's going to be. But yeah, what a fun project. It's the first of a couple of shop upgrades I have planned for 2021. But yeah, it was fun. I really like the end result. I think it is going to be such a help. And I am very grateful for you for watching along, following along. And I want to encourage you, if you found some value in this, or you enjoyed it, or it helped you in any way, then please consider subscribing and putting the bell on so you can see some of my future projects. I do have some interesting things in plan for the future. Until our next project, I want to say to you, make your best life. Now we just have to test this out, see how it goes. Ooh. I want to mention something, bear with me. If you look at this shape, it kind of looks to me like the main palace on Asgard. As you're approaching Asgard in the movies, you see this structure like this. It kind of looks the same. I know it's a stretch, but use your imagination. This looks almost a little bit like Asgard. You have to... I get distracted. That's unexpected. My holes don't match. I confess myself disappointed in my drilling. Why are your left hand so stupid?